Started around the year 2000, 1999 to year 2000. That was the time where I decided that I wanted to do more yoga. Well, why? One of the reason is that I find myself wanting to do more meditation. And I have been a Buddhist for a long time. Since when I am like about 18 years old. But my meditation was not going anywhere. Primarily because I'm not practicing hard enough, but also because the legs isn't really working well for me. So I remember going to this Dharma group every weekend, and I have to sit in meditation for just 10 minutes. And every time I do that, after 5, my leg is numb totally already. So I was thinking like, this is really going nowhere. But I didn't really fix that issue. So until I met yoga very much later, and I thought I didn't really like a lot of sports, and I really wanted to do something for myself physically. So yoga seems to be a very good fit because it has that spirituality aspect to it. So as a Buddhist, then I also like something that is physical as well as spiritual. So that's how I got into it. But when I get into yoga at that time, in that kind of scene, yoga scene in Singapore at that time, there isn't really that many choices of styles of yoga. And simply, it is either known as Hatha yoga, or just yoga in general. And I did many different kinds of yoga, whatever that is available then. And slowly Ashtanga was introduced, and at that time I was in my 20s, and I'm intrigued by this kind of a practice, and so I was very fascinated. I also spent at least 4 years practicing Ashtanga yoga. So very much into it, so much so that I decided to go to Mysore to see Pattabhi Jois. And then when I was in Mysore, it was in the old Shala where Pattabhi Jois is still teaching in that small little house. So that was the situation back then. I was a fanatic in a way about Ashtanga yoga, but then later on, my body isn't really very good after practicing Ashtanga yoga. So I have a little bit of this injury where I have pain on my hamstring. So when that happens, I have to look for an alternative. And I begin to see some introductions about anatomy of yoga actually, and it's from Paul Riley. And I actually know Paul as an anatomy teacher at that time, and he first came into Hong Kong in 2002, and then I decided to go and see him, and I attended his anatomy talk. And at the same time in the evening he has this yoga class that is going on. It wasn't really clear to me at that time that it was known as Yin Yoga, because he never really mentioned anything much about that particular style of yoga that he was teaching. But then it was because I didn't know a lot about yoga at that time, so we were told to stay in a pose for a long time, and we did. So that was how I got introduced to Yin Yoga in 2002.